Oh, cut off the goat raiders. Can't be doing that. Boston Bill said, good evening, Boston Bill. Oh, hold on, I'm not supposed to talk to y'all just quite yet. Give me just a second. Let me make sure I got the. There we go. That's good enough.
Welcome to Never Done Projects.
Where we are.
We are just a silly little YouTube channel. Remember to like, subscribe, comment, and consider joining the member on the wall
And out by the road.
for only
$4.99 a month. All right, Boston Bill said good evening. Daniel said, what's up all? Happy Sunday. What's up, everybody? Boston Bill said, happy Memorial Day weekend. Happy Memorial Day weekend, everybody. Remember, you get to celebrate it because everybody, well, other people decided to get, some gave all, some gave some. But that's the reason we're celebrating Memorial Day is because some gave all. Dennis at Twisted Mopar said, good evening, everyone. Good evening, Dennis. I hope you have been doing well. Truthmaker 777, aka Jacob, said, what's up, R3? What's up, Jacob? How have you been? Mario said, hey. Hello, Mario. Mario, man, you've been deleted several times in this. You've been timed out 5 separate times. Let's see if you can make it 6 tonight. Matthew said, Matthew, hell yeah. Hell yeah, Matthew. Damn, I'm hungry. And it just dawned on me that I am hungry. But I hope everybody's having a good Sunday. Today was very humid. That secret project, I think I have put a Band-Aid on it. So I might be willing to share some details, but I feel like I have ATF all over me. Dennis has been very busy, won't be here long. I understand that, Dennis. I appreciate you spending your little bit of time with us silly little YouTubers. So again, thank you for spending some time with us. Robert, so what's up, Randy Jr.? This is Robert Hirschenberger. Hello, Robert. How has bowling been? Jane said, hey, R3. Hello, Jane. Maria said, I just got back home. I'm so tired. Damn. I bet you are tired. What is it? 2 o'clock in the morning for you? I bet you is tired. Mario said, okay, Beach, I'm a goated troll. Better than anyone. Listen. You messing with the wrong Randy. I'll just delete you from the whole channel, buddy. You've had 5 different chances. I would enjoy it if you acted right and stayed in the chat. But if you don't, I have no problem deleting somebody. Jane said, hi, Bill. John said, hi. Hello, John Glad5. Maria said, hey, Jane. Jane said, hey, Dennis. Hey, Maria. Robert said, great. I'm glad to hear bowling's been doing good, Robert. Maria said, is your dad hiding in the room or he's just busy? He is with Chester right now watching the Coca-Cola 600 on the TV. He asked if I wanted to do the live or watch the race, and I said, I have no interest in the race. That's you and the Chester thing. I'll do the live. So I guess you could say he's busy. Jane said, hi, John. Sam said, hey, everyone. Hello, Sam. Robert said, how's the weather, Randy? Very humid. It says that it's 80 degrees Fahrenheit, but I feel like it's about 98% humidity. Lotus said, hello, hello. Hello, Lotus. Did you get that big old 2-stroke going today? Maria said, cool. Mario said, okay, well, I have a problem with everyone. Well, this is the wrong channel then, Mario. We come in just for a 2-hour live where we can all get along. Sometimes it's difficult, but we can all get along. Lotus said, what's up, Rando? And hello, Maria. Hello, Lotus. Maria said, how is Chester? Chester's good. Normal junk talking self. Jane said, what is a goated troll? Remember, a goat can also stand for not just the God over all things like the Goat Raiders goat, but it can also stand for greatest of all time. So I guess in their mind that they're just the greatest troll to ever bless this channel. Lotus said, hi, Jane. Maria said, hi, Lotus. Most of the snacks are gone. Yes, Maria, most of the snacks are gone. And now's the time for me to tell you I'm hungry. Robert asked, how's work going? We're going in at 7 o'clock in the morning for a little while. So it's going good to be getting off about 12-ish. But, I mean, it's going good. I hope work picks up soon. Justify all the jobs. Dennis asked what Mario has going on. I don't know, but he has been timed out on the chat 5 times. So I said, let's try to make it 6 this time, apparently. Jane said it was so humid today. Yes, ma'am, it was. Dennis said Jane with a waving hand and a heart. Jane said, hey, Lotus. Mario said, Jane, it means I'm the best at hurting people's feelings. You might have to take second on that one. Maria said, what's the orange thing on the couch? It is a candy bucket. So I guess somebody had some candy today. Jacob said, it's raining cats and dogs over here. I hate rainy weather. At least I don't have to fool with the garden. Hey, that's the good news about the rain. I hate the rain because then it means I get wet while I'm at work. And then it means it's real humid when it warms back up. Alex Ramos said, is that a weapon in your hand? It was a pair of fingernail clippers. Now it's a cheer line. Team Richard said, hi, Randy. Hello, Richard. How's it going across the pond? Lotus said it's still sitting next to me, ready to go, but it started raining right after your live ended. It's supposed to be dry tomorrow. Well, I hate to hear that it started raining on you, buddy. Dennis is waving at Richard. Maria said, I feel dizzy. I don't like when I put perfume and it just stuck to me for hours. Maria, I understand that certain people like perfume and you probably put perfume on for yourself, but I am the type of person, if I smell just a whiff of perfume, it gives me like a splitting headache. And cologne for men, I used to wear just a little bit of it, but now same thing. It kind of bothers my head, but I understand that people wear it for themselves, not for me. Richard says, smash the like button. I would appreciate it if you did. Robert said, how is Robert's work jacket doing, Randy? It's in the bed of the truck, Robert, staying nice and dry underneath that hard bed cover. Jacob asked, what's up, Twisted? Jane said, I got the grass done right before rain. That's the best feeling. To be pulling that mower back in right about the time it starts to rain, and you got the grass looking nice. I like that. Dennis is waving at Lotus. Richard gave a thumbs up to Dennis. Jane said, hi, Richard. Maria said, Mario, you're not the best at hurting everyone's feelings. I am. Now, you're still going to have to take second place on that. Lotus said, or third, I'm the best at hurting feelings. I don't even have to try. That makes a few of us, Lotus. Apparently, I just say comments. Richard's waving at Jane. Lotus said, what's up, Twisted? Alex said, what kind of dude wears short shorts? Be best if you don't ask me that question. I don't like short shorts. I don't like shorts that come above my knees while I'm standing and walking. Peko Romana said, American Cowboys in the Appalachian Mountains. I think there's something in the Appalachian Mountains. I don't know how many cowboys are up there anymore. Lotus said, that time of year in Ohio, many showers brings June flowers, right? May showers brings June flowers. I think that's how the saying goes. Mario said, I have been watching your live off and on for about a week or two, and you have very little trolls. And when I saw a few trolls, but they sucked at their trolling job. So who is your favorite troll? I don't like people coming in trying to cause issues. I have done my fair share of trolling back in the Xbox 360 days, Mario. I'm not even going to lie to you. But this live was started and has continued going for the simple purpose of coming in for 2 hours where we can just enjoy life. Because if you pay attention to life, the world sucks. So that's all we ask. I don't have a favorite troll. I don't have a favorite not troll. I hate everybody equally. Maria said, well, it's necessary to put perfume outside. Most people here prefer putting perfumes. Well, I'm not mad at y'all by any means. I'm not saying don't wear perfume. There's plenty of people here that they wear perfume or cologne instead of wearing deodorant. Me personally, I like my deodorant. Dennis said I'm doing okay. Just got lots of stuff I got to get done. Well, Dennis, I thought I was going to have a lot more to do today than I did. I am happy to report that it was not a $3,000 mistake. Robert said, don't forget to pick me up for work tomorrow morning, Randy. All right, Robert. Work's about 15 minutes from the house if I stop for food. So we'll be leaving about 6:30. Jane said, your surprise was that thing you put on the trailer? Which thing? If you're talking about the Tahoe with no doors, no, I've had that thing for 7 years, something like that. I parted it out, and now it just sat there. Now that was not the thing that I put on the trailer. That's not what I was talking about. Cons said, I'm from China, bro. Hey, welcome to America Land. How is China? I have never been. I would like to go see it. I do not speak Chinese, but I would love to go visit some other places around the world. Let's see here. Sam said, how's everyone doing? I'm cooking supper. Sam, what we having for supper? I'm awful hungry. I'm doing good, though. I am pretty damn hungry. Lotus said, don't want no shorts, man. Yep. I think that's a song, but I agree. Jacob at Cowboy 92 Explorer said, somebody say cowboy. Yow! Savage Year Speed said, you look like American Sniper. No, I'm not that good at it. Be best if we don't ask questions about my past life. Rumple's smiling. Welcome back, Rumple. Hopefully you've had a good evening. Alex said, have you ever been to the Badlands? No, I have not. Jacob said, hi, everybody. Rumple's just smiling ear to ear, buddy. Lotus said, April showers bring May flowers. Ohio got it wrong. Look, Mother Nature's drunk, and she's stuck in our yards again. Imagine Church said, greetings from Uganda, Africa, bro. Hey, bro. You're the one who does the ministry. Jay said, you know life sucks. Why be rude to each other? That's exactly right. Rumple said, I control only if I let you. And they said, hello, Randy Jr. Hello, Rumple. Dad, if you're curious, is down there watching the NASCAR race with Chester. Imagine Church said, I wish to partner with you people in my orphanage center, brother. I appreciate the offer. I got too much going on. I would not be a benefit to your orphanage, to be completely honest with you. I do personally believe I would be more of a hindrance than I would have helped because I have too much going on, my friend. Rumple said, Jane, hello. Jane said, hey, Rumple. Lotus said, Boxy is my favorite troll, and you ain't Boxy. Dennis said, I remember the old ICQ chat rooms. They got way out of control. I have never been part of a chat room. Even growing up, I wasn't. Well, I don't want to say I wasn't allowed on the internet. We just didn't have the internet for the longest damn time. I remember I was like a senior in high school or not far out of high school, and they come out to replace our router for the Wi-Fi, and the guy's like, man, I've been doing this for like 12 years, and I've never seen one this old. Like, you're running off a dial-up. He's like, you can run this still? We're like, yeah, but if you turn the microwave on, the Wi-Fi cuts out. He's like, yeah, let's try to do something about that. Rumple said hello to Lotus. Lotus said, sup, Rump? Rumple. Jane said, welcome, China. Imagine said, may I partner with you in my orphanage? I gave you my answer. I know that you had typed that before I gave you my answer. Jane said, welcome, Africa. Richard said, hit that like, chat. I'd appreciate it if you would. Mario said, okay. But, Church, I'm just going to tell you, I appreciate what you're doing because there are kids that need people's help, and I just hate that I am unable to help. I barely can do enough to help me and my kids. Then it said, Mopar, remember Hotmail and AOL chat? You've got mail. Rumple said hello to Richard. Daddy with the capital D said, I was planning to go down there, but I forgot I had to go to Carmen's for dinner. It's okay. We saw you drive right by us. We were on Welborn, and you were passing the light right there at BP. Me and Daddy were leaving the house. He was in the dually. I was in Marketplace, and we went, there goes Justin. You didn't even see what we had behind the dually. Jane said, welcome. You got mail. Mario said, did anyone make you or Pop mad in the past 6 lives? Be best if you don't ask that, because I can't remember last live the best. But yes, there's been plenty of times we've got frustrated, and mostly everybody in chat can attest to it. Jane said, hey, Justin. Dennis said, yeah. Yes, I never used it. I pretty much stayed with ICQ. Had a bunch of friends. We get together. I miss that era of the internet. Like, I used to play old school RuneScape, OSRS. And it was so freaking cool to log on and be able to talk with people. And just like this, across the world. And not have to worry about what people think, what people believe in. And just have common ground where you can go and enjoy time with each other. I freaking love that. Lotus said, oh, it's a song, but it goes a bit different. Gotcha. Jacob said, R3, you reckon the trolls put a stick of deodorant up their butt would make them trolly fresh? Lol, the trolls. No, I think trolls refuse to use deodorant because they're pheromone boosting. Rumpel said, well, maybe he's out of China. Ain't it banned there? I don't know, buddy. Church said, blessings, bro. Blessings to you, my friend. Lotus said, what's up, Timu Justin? Miss you, bud. With every shot so far. Rumpel said, Jane, oh yeah, I remember that message. There was almost a movie. Alex said, would you ever accept a stepdad? Nope. I have one dad. I'm 30. It'd be kind of hard to step in and say, you're my dad now. But that's a whole nother story. Church asked if I have WhatsApp. I do not. Rumpel said, stepdad. What dad? Dad up a step ladder? Excuse my innocent. Yeah, what'd you do, Daddy? Get up on a step ladder? Damn, I told you I'd get up on the ladders. Church said, I wish you could share your email. It's neverdoneprojects@gmail.com. Justin said, I revved when I passed by. I just figured you were just driving normal how loud that truck is now. But you missed the next big project. That's okay. How was dinner? Floored for the Lord said, hey, R3, hello, my friend. Will said, what's up, big dog? Another day in paradise. Had to sit on my hands to keep them waving at everybody. Dennis said, got to go. Have a couple CB radios to try and fix. See y'all later. See you, Dennis. Thanks for spending some time with us. Try not to be too busy in your retirement. Jane said, hey, Floored. Rumpel said, that's what the nurse said to my dad when I was born. You got mail. I like it. Rumpel's laughing. Jane said, Justin, they heard you before they saw you. Well, we're pulling down my road, which runs parallel to the road that he was on. Before we turned left, I said, damn, what's that loud-ass truck? Turns out it's the truck we did the exhaust on. Maria said, I used to play games about Spider-Man marrying Frozen, and I have to make their wedding. Really? That's pretty cool. Which Frozen? Was it Anna or Elsa? The redhead or the blonde? Rumpel said everything is banned in China. They got Baidu service for everything. It's like their Google. Like North Korea. Only have certain things that's approved by the government, right? Lotus said, Frozen spider wedding, interesting. Do you imagine those webs? Maria said, I was eating ice cream today and it melted in my hand before I finished it. So sad. I knew I meant to do it. I meant to get me an ice cream. Jay said, bye, Dennis. Maria said, no, Lotus. Nobody wants to see Frozen marrying Spider-Man. We all know she's a lesbian because she was against her sister's wedding. LOL, JK. I was about to say, damn. Daryl said, hello, Daryl. Metal Art Customs, LLC. Lotus said, what's up, Daryl? Maria said, Elsa. Okay, the blonde. Let's see here. Daryl said, Lotus. Let's see. Floored for the Lord said, LOL, I've been doing my exhaust on my dually, the 454, don't speak softly. Well, if you missed last night's live, we did end it, and we were all very tired and kind of pissed off at each other, to put it nicely. We spent 11 hours doing the exhaust on Justin's 03 SS pickup truck, all-wheel drive with the 6-liter in it, extended cab, 6.5-foot bed. Took the manifolds off, long tube headers, custom exhaust all the way to the Y in the rear. Needless to say, by the time we got done, we could probably wring each other's necks and sleep just fine last night about it. But we got it done, and I will tell you right now, that 6-liter does not speak softly. But that 454 is going to gain some power by putting some headers on it, especially if you just put some long tubes or some shorties. But waking that 454 up is by letting her breathe. 3-inch exhaust is a minimum. Jane said, hey, Daryl. Daryl said, Jane. Lotus said, down. Was she? I wouldn't put it past Disney. I wouldn't either. Maria said, but Elsa was cool. I never understood Anna. Anna was a very cooped up little girl that did not get the experience of growing up. Remember that. Lord for Lord said, sheesh. Yeah, that 6-liter is long tube, 3-inch exhaust, all the way to the axle loop, which is 3.5, to like a rectangular port. It is loud. Lotus had never watched Frozen. It's honestly a good movie. I thought it was. Rumpel said, I may drift off halfway. I dehydrated a bit so much yesterday. Excuse me if I do, buddy. If you sleepy and you tired, and especially if you dehydrated, go chug you something to drink, and by all means go to bed, buddy. Maria said, Lotus, what? Jane said, did you give Justin the bill for labor? No, I did not. It would not be right of me to charge him. Now, it would be nice if he has the money. Dad did pay for the exhaust pipe. If he paid for the stick of pipe we used. But it's just like what I just did today and the exhaust work I've done on Madison's. I don't expect Justin to pay for that kind of stuff. I know we spent 11 hours working on it, but you don't charge family members for stuff like that. I mean, it's like if I sit there and said, okay, all things considered, we got 10 hours worth of labor in this, and I make X amount per hour at work, and yeah, you don't do that to family. I mean, it's like the wheels and tires I did for my father-in-law. I charged him cost for that. As much as they've done for us, that's the least I can do. I mean, if Justin says, hey, I got $60, that'll pay for the exhaust pipe. I mean, the pipe was $50 a stick. I think we used one full 10-foot stick and a little bit of another one. So, I mean, again, it's not a big deal. Money is not what's important. The important thing is the truck's done. There is still minor things to do. He said he does have a check engine light because of the increased flow on the exhaust. I said, you will need a tune. The truck will be okay right now. It's just going to run a little lean. But he will be okay with it. We will work on, either I will figure out how to tune it or we will find him a reputable tuner. Lotus said, nope, never seen it. 2601 Productions official, aka Logan, said, hello, Logan. Timothy said, God sent me to tell you to quit eating Little Debbie's and all that other crap. Well, me and God have our own relationship. We don't talk religion, to be quite fair, but me and God have our own relationship, and he's okay with me eating Little Debbie's. Maria said, you have to see it now. I don't care if you're a 40-year-old dude, and everybody will think that you're weird. Lotus said, they will. Yeah. Rumpel said, labor, who's expecting again? Excuse my innocence. Shouldn't be nobody in my side. Lotus said, I watched Moana like one. What can I say? It's okay. You're welcome. I like Moana. I did not care for the live action version. Moana 2 was pretty good too. Maria said, I don't think that you're weird if you watch Frozen because I think you're weird already by watching this channel. That's okay. Listen, whenever Frozen come out, I was in high school. Cootie Queen said, howdy y'all, still clocked in, just wanted to say hi. Alright, gotta get back to work. See you, Cootie Queen, thanks for coming in, enjoy work. Floor for Lord said, I decatted and ran true dual chambered 3-inch, but I have to put some more on it because it's too loud, so I'm adding short glass packs on it. There is a 12-inch glass pack. It's not going to make hardly any bit of a difference, but be careful. By adding that, make sure if you have 3-inch pipe, the in and outlet on the muffler you're running is 3-inch. Because if you start reducing from the 3 to 2.5 back up to 3, it's going to have that clap on it. You do not want clap. If you do, you might not want to tell me. Maria said, hello, Cootie. Hope you're fine. I think she's enjoying work. Rumpel said, do, dee, da, do. Do, 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 do. Jane said, hey, Cootie. Lotus said, hey, Cootie. Maria said, yeah, of course, money is important. I can make more money. I can buy more things. But one thing I cannot make more of is time. Don't waste my time and don't waste yours. You never know when your time's done. Crap, I right-clicked. Rumpel said, Cootie, hello. Lotus said, did you put his O2s back in? Yes, Lotus, I did. But being that the upstream O2 sensors are basically in the spot of the downstream O2, no caps. We've already tuned that part already. But the placement of the O2 sensor in a different spot on this truck, and the fact that it's such a more open velocity on the long tube versus the stock manifolds, it is going to trip a O2 sensor. So we will have to run some data logs on it and make some small adjustments, and he will be fine. Like I said, it's just going to run a little lean. But lean is mean. Rumpel said, do. Lotus said, Mr. Logan, how you been, bud? I've been wondering that myself. Cootie Queen said, I'm so tired, Maria. Hey, Jane, Lotus, and Rumpel. I hate to hear you're that tired. Be careful going home. Maria said God told him he's okay if he eats a little snacks. Moana 2 was crap, my opinion. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. I watched it with Addie. Addie loved it, and that's what makes it important to me. But, you know, that's exactly right. God told me that he's okay if I eat some snacks. Last time I checked, he didn't mind if I ate them things. Lotus and Cootie getting them hours. She been at work all day. She said she got to. This never done project's expensive. Maria said Frozen was at 2012. I just at my first year at school. 2012. I graduated high school in 2014. So that would have made me a junior or sophomore. Rumpel said, what was that Acorn one? Ice Age? That was good. Also Madagascar. I like the movie. Yes, I like Ice Age. Madagascar was good until they started making so many of them. Florida for the Lord said, I would hope that God would just have more important work for you to do than volunteering dietary advice to people. Same. Church said, we text you on email. Hope you get your response, brother. Blessings. All right, thank you. American Maker said, saw you live. Wanted to say hi before I headed over to my neighbors to let the dogs out for the night. Thanks for coming in, buddy. Hey, if you didn't hear, I love what you made for Hugh. That light up sign, I freaking love it. Good job, buddy. Maria said, no, R3, don't lie. Nobody enjoyed their work. I used to enjoy what I did for work, but it didn't pay the bills. Rumpel asked where Dad was. He's watching the NASCAR race with Chester. American Maker said, if you build a watch, technically you are making time, lol. You know, you have a point on that. Let's see. I'll have to respond to Ryan in just a little bit. You know, American Maker, you are pretty right. Lotus said, never watched Moana 2. Haven't watched live Lilo and Stitch either. I will not watch live Lilo and Stitch. They changed the damn storyline. I'm not doing it. Maria said, Pops is hiding underneath the coochie. Lotus, you never seen anything. Lotus is a little bit older than you, remember that. Rumpel said, American, gotta hand it to you. It got me ticking. Music 79E said, I miss your dad. He's just on the other side of the wall there watching NASCAR. Lotus said, no, I just don't always watch kids shows. But music loves dad. We all do. Lotus said, LOS, she got to work on keeping number one around here. Exactly. Lotus said, Ice Age was great. I second that. Maria said, Madagascar was so good. Agreed. American Maker said, the Acorn was Scrat's Adventures. Yes, it was. Maria said, I still enjoy it as an adult. R3, don't say I'm not. Technically speaking, you are 18 years old, so technically you are an adult. Jane said, Maria, I enjoyed my job. Just because I don't enjoy the people I'm around does not mean I don't enjoy my job. American Maker said, glad you like the light. I made them for anyone who wants specific images, $30 plus shipping. I might have to be in touch with you at some point. Let me get on my feet a little bit better and I'll be in touch with you. Ryan said, hello friends. Hello, Ryan. Rumpel said, I like stuff like John Wick. Wick kind of helps with visualization of letting off steam. Maria said, I know, just kidding. Lotus said, what's up, Ryan? How you doing? Rumpel said, hello to Ryan. Ryan said, hey, Lotus, I'm all right, hanging out. Jane said, hey, Ryan. Florida Lord said, I found some 3-inch glass packs with 16-inch chamber, and the Delta muffler is a 3x16 can 2. It has a whistle to it, over 3,000 without the glass pack. Still waiting for the second one to show up. Okay, so as long as you got that 3-inch inlet, 3-inch outlet, I think it'll be okay. That 454 will definitely appreciate being able to breathe like that. If you are running true duals all the way out the back, I do believe you will benefit from some kind of crossover. An H-pipe is more of a classic muscle sound. An X-pipe gives it more of like a raspy tone, like a muscle car or a sports car. Ryan said, hey Rumpel. Lotus said, and I don't have kids, so I don't have an easy excuse to watch kids shows. Yeah, last time a 40-something-year-old man walked into the movie theater with a bucket of popcorn by himself to watch a kid's movie, it was kind of weird. Ryan said, hey Jane. Nicholas said, hi brother. Hello Nicholas. Lord for Lord said, I made an H-pipe for it too. Hot dog, you read my mind. I like it. Nicholas said, happy Sunday. Happy Sunday, Nicholas. I'm glad everybody's here. Jane said, hi Nicholas, and hi American Maker. Maria said, Lotus, you can be adult and enjoy kids shows. You can, but there is a pre-amount of judgment that people make anytime an adult shows up and stuff like that. Lotus said, the Madagascar penguins are my heroes. I agree with that 110%. Nicholas said, hi Jane. American Maker said, hi Jane. Hi Jane. And welcome in all. Ryan said, hey Maker. Lotus said, I watched the Hoopers movie or Hoppers movie last week. It was okay. Like Judy Hopps or a different one? I like Zootopia and Zootopia 2. I don't understand why Zootopia 2, apparently everything had to be all thick. I didn't notice anything different. Rumpel said, Lotus, remember that plain blueprint screen? It was my favorite. But will it fly? Don't need to worry about landing, but will it fly? American Maker said, okay guys, I'll try to return as fast as I can. Time will tell based on the dogs doing their business. Alright buddy, look, be careful. Thanks for coming in. Lotus said, yeah, wrong. Maria said the Hoppers was fine. I gave it a 6 out of 10. Don't you mean a 3 out of 5? That reduces down, Maria. Come on, fractions. American Maker said, might try logging in on my phone so I can connect to Wi-Fi. Your call, buddy. Whatever you do, just be careful. Lotus said, LOL, wasn't that when Pee-wee got arrested? I don't know. Floor for Lord said, yeah, she's rowdy. I bet she is. We got this 396 sitting out here. It had long tubes H-pipe with like a 40 series Flowmaster in the red truck. She was pretty rowdy. She needed a valve adjustment, but we pulled her and the Muncie out to put an LS motor in the 4L60. For now, we're putting the 4L60. We will be going back to stick at some point, but I just wanted something to be drivable. That 396 just was not happy. Lotus said, yeah, the part where she stops the bear is the best part. Nah, it's weird now. Rumpel said Madagascar, and there was that show called Bonkers. It was hilarious. I've never heard of Bonkers. Baron said, hello from Ohio. Hello, Baron. Changed your profile picture, I see. Nicholas said, I like number 28 for you. Thank you, Nicholas. You know what? I need to pull it up to see how many people we got watching and how many people is liked. Gotta make sure my volume's down. Don't need that reverb. Looks like Mike at Lone Ranch Garage has posted a new video if anybody wants to watch it. He's got Poverty Tour coming up in a couple days, June the 1st. And that Pontiac, I think he can do it. I think he would appreciate everybody's support too. Maria said, judgment, who cares about people's opinion? They probably watch some weird things alone and they're not brave enough to share it because they're scared, so they're making fun of other people's interest. Lotus said, Pee-wee, the last time a 40-year-old dude went to watch a kid's movie, arrested doing bad things in a theater. I got you now. We're back on the same page. But Maria, just remember that the world is a very judgmental place, okay? And they don't care if you are not a creep. All they think about is the people that are creeps. One bad apple has ruined a bunch. Maria said, the only time I'm going to judge anyone if they're 30-ass dude watching anime shows about high school girls and he's crushing on some characters, that's weird. You know, I agree with that. Now, I don't understand why anime girls in high school have to look so adult-like, but I understand what you're saying. Ryan said, I thought Pee-wee was caught touching himself at a naughty theater. Lotus said, it was, Ryan. You missed the joke. Yeah, Ryan, Lotus is talking about going to watch some kids' movies, and I said it's kind of weird for a 40-year-old to be going to a kids' movie by himself. Rumpel said there was a scene where they stuck in desert, so he writes a letter, hits himself on the head with a hammer, sees stars and birds while fainting, catches the bird, and ties the letter to his feet. Now that's hilarious. That's y'all remember the movie Who Framed Roger Rabbit? That was a good movie. Ryan said, LOL, my bad. Ryan said, Bonkers was like a mashup of cartoons and human cartoons in a cop comedy drama. It was funny. Wait a second. Bonkers. That sounds like Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Huh. Ryan said, I'll just act like I've got downs if I really want to see a kid's movie. Yeah, ain't hard to act like that one, is it, Ryan? Lotus said, plus, the internet, I don't need to go to the theater to watch movies. I just watched Mandalorian and Guru last night. Cool. Olivia said, Arr. Hello, Olivia. Lotus said, at home. Ryan said, hello, Olivia. Lotus said, what's up, Olivia? You are bewitched. Said, keep America straight. Olivia said, hi, guys. Olivia, I ordered your sign whenever you become a member. I've not heard back from them. Hopefully, we'll have your sign this week. Lotus said, Roger Rabbit was a great movie. I second that. You Are Bewitched said Michael Jackson was doing fine until they rolled him past pediatrics. Okay. Maria said, LOL, Japanese people, they're okay with making a character. Her body looks like a 10-year-old, but they're going to tell you that she's a 300-year-old. Yeah, but then makes a 16-year-old look like she's 30. Like, I am so confused right now. Lotus said, it may have been called a different name in his country. That's what I'm thinking. Rumpel said it was like Roger Rabbit, but it was way before in the mid-90s. Gotcha, okay. American Maker said Wi-Fi works here. That's great. Y'all remember those commercials, Tony the Tiger. Lotus said Roger Rabbit was mid-90s. The First Mask. I remember that one. That was a damn good one. Son of the Mask, Mask 2. Man, I like it. American Maker said, or not. Spotty. Maria said, and a 15-year-old high school student will look like she's got the boobies of like a 40-year-old divorced woman who breastfed twice. They only make these things for sick perverts. You know, I watch that stuff like, what's it called? It's like Elite High School or something like that. And I'm sitting there watching it like, high school is not that damn important. That's more like college stuff. But then I remember, like you're saying, it's made in Japan. Whole different culture there versus here. It's just like learning how things are over there in Iraq with you. I don't understand some things because we do have cultural differences, and that's not bad. Nicholas said, buddy, guess how old I am? 22. Rumpel said, Lotus, but it was different. It used to show after DuckTales and spin for us on Sunday mornings. So your Sunday mornings, yeah, that would have been like Saturday night or Saturday morning cartoons for us too. Ryan said Japan girls have sugar daddies, apparently. Lotus said, oh, MSN, DuckTales, that's taking it way back. Maria said, the reason I stopped watching One Piece is the female bodies are so unreal and more several things. I have never watched One Piece except whenever it was on Toonami on Cartoon Network after 9 p.m. Ryan said, I remember DuckTales. Lotus said, Darkwing Duck. I remember seeing stuff about it, but I have never watched it. Ryan said, Carmen Sandiego. Lotus said, Dragon Ball Z GT. I never liked GT. Not the Mustang GT. But speaking of GT, talk to a man today, might have a lead on a 5 or 6 speed Mustang with the V8, so I guess the 302. And a man up the road's got a 67 F100. The Mustang's been wrecked, so never know, we might have something going on. Nicholas said, I'm 29 years old. I'm very old, I know. Nicholas, you're not very old because I will be 30 at the end of June. So me and Nicholas are the same age. I feel old, but I hope you don't. Ryan said, I love DBZ and GT. I like DBZ. I love Abridged. Maria said, and don't let me start with the disgusting voiceover. They make females do voices like toddlers. Yeah, the English dub apparently is not the way to watch it, but I get distracted with the subtitles and I don't end up enjoying the video or movie or TV show. Ryan said, lol, I'm 36. Old. Lotus said, have you watched Super Randy? It's not too bad. Yeah, Dragon Ball Super. I've watched some of it, but I've never really been a big fan. But it's not to mean that I don't per se like it. I just didn't understand it whenever it was coming out. American Maker said, I remember the original Mask. So do I. Jane said, I'm very old. In all caps. You're only as old as you feel, Jane, but to be your age, you navigate the internet surprisingly well. American Maker said the original wasn't. Rumpel said, yeah, I used to be a marathon show on Sundays, cartoons in early morning, then in evening. I dream of Jenny, Wandering Years, Silver Spoons, Who's the Boss, Small Wonder. Lotus said, oh my God, the bridge was the shit. Yes, it was. It's like, if you've watched Solo Leveling, I love that anime. Love it. But they got it on YouTube. It's called Sister Leveling. Boy, oh boy, it is freaking hilarious. Ryan said Super was good. I agree. I like the Tournament of Power. Maria said, yeah, I think I know that Cartoon Network is in the U.S. They used to have something to put at night. It's like part of the channel. They put anime shows and things for young adults, right? Yes, ma'am. You are absolutely correct on that. I remember watching some of it. I remember falling asleep sometimes and waking up with Nickelodeon playing, and it was always George Lopez on. American Makers, it wasn't a comedy. It was the story about Rocky Dennis. Gotcha, okay. Ryan said Vegeta makes Abridged. Yes. Kicked him in the dick. Brenda said Cartoon Network here didn't have it, but other channels did. Okay. Well, Cartoon Network now has, last time I watched it, which has been a hot minute, had nothing to interest me. Rumpel said we also had SWAT Cats, Johnny Bravo, Dexter Laboratories, Powerpuff Girls. I've watched all of those. Maria said that's why I ended up watching anime shows as a kid. Growing up, didn't even know what anime was. Now look at me, an adult, trying to find a good anime to watch. It's not freaking creepy. Oh, so why does he keep me in the D? Why does he keep kicking me in the D? I like that. Jane said, kiss my butt, Randy. Jane, if I didn't like you, I wouldn't talk shit. Just remember, that's how us old folks are. If they don't like you, they don't talk crap. That's how I know Chester likes us. He talks cash money shit. Lotus said, muffin butt. Jonathan Cox said, will you be my boyfriend? Yes or no? No, thank you. I have on socks. I don't do that stuff. Ryan said, you and me can do anything together. Yeah. Rumpel said, Cox, how much dough you got? In millions, please. I like big bills. American Maker said, sorry, phone keyboard isn't meant for folks with fat fingers. It's okay, buddy. I fat finger letters all the time, then remember I should probably be wearing glasses. Ryan said, mine. Yep. Mine. What the hell is that? Mine! Jay said, I grew up with the Jetsons and the Flintstones. Man, those were some good ones. I miss cartoons like that where they were good and they weren't crazy. They're not overstimulated. American Maker said, your dad might remember Mask with cheer in it. I'm sure he will. Jane said, if I didn't like you, I wouldn't tell you to kiss my butt. Exactly. It's a love-hate relationship. We love to hate on each other. Lotus said, I watched both of those growing up, Jane, but they were reruns for me. Steve-O3344 said, these guys changed my oil and put ATF fluid back in. Listen, I put ATF in today. F that stuff. Ryan said, Lotus, how old are you? Maria said, Cartoon Network Company said that they have no money to make cartoons anymore this year. I have no comment on that. All these businesses said they have no money but reporting record-breaking profits. Lotus is 44. Jonathan said, you need prank calls to police officer right now. No. No, that's an arrestable offense. Misuse of 911. I've arrested many people for it. Maria said, RIP Cartoon Network. I second that. I hate to hear it. Rumpel said, Jane, oh, I watched those two. And Knight Rider. I've heard of them. Jonathan said, 911, shut a fire burning on the dance floor. Ryan said, oh, you're not that far ahead of me. I say that about Ryan all the time. Maria said, it was called cartoon or CN Arabic in Arabic here. I know I'm saying that wrong, but I understand what you're saying. Jacob said, Tom and Jerry I love. Man, I love them. I mean, they didn't have to speak a word to each other. I forget which movie it was, but they were in like a log cabin with a little blonde girl, and that's the first time I ever heard Tom and Jerry talk, and I was blown the hell away. American Maker sent thumbs up for 10 jewels. Thank you. Rumpel said it was something called Santa Barbara Network, wasn't it? The Cartoon Network back then. I've never heard of it. Ryan said, Maria, I have to ask, is Aladdin popular? Lotus said, I watched some Knight Rider. American Maker said, better drawn in the 90s. Better drawn in the 90s. Or 80s, excuse me. Lotus said, and Dukes of Hazzard. Man, that old show was good. Rise of them Duke boys. Lotus said, Ren and Stimpy. Pinky and the Brain. Miranda said, what do you mean by Aladdin is popular? Jonathan said, do you want kissing on my lips tonight? Yes or no? Nah, but I got a brown starfish you can kiss. Ryan said, the Disney story. Rumpel said, Ryan, I think it was part of the series called Arabian Nights. Cool. Miranda said, LOL, I watched that movie too when they talked for the first time. It was awesome. It was so freaking cool to me, but it just blew my little brain. Lotus said, OMG, my ringtone is Pinky and the Brain opening. Love those pipes. That's awesome. Mine is one of the AI songs. Randy C10 made. Ain't just a truck. Big block's gone, but who gives a duck? Ryan said, oh, I got you, Rumpel. Aye. Jacob said, what's up, Maker? Miss your live stream. Maria said, do you mean by Disney popular here? Lotus said, Rick and Morty? I like Rick and Morty. Hate to hear what happened to one of the like the co-writers or something. Got in some trouble for some, cheese pizza. Rumpel said, Will Smith killed Aladdin. I'll smack him on behalf of Chris. They kill a lot of these old classic animated stories by making them live action. They killed it. Like not in a good way. Jonathan said, are you going to jail tonight? Day, tomorrow, or tomorrow morning is? Nah. Look, I'm not allowed to go to jail. They said last time I went there, I found you, and what I did to you, they can't have me back. American Mayor said, not much, cowboy, just dealing with pain. Uh-oh, the pain's not good. Lotus said, Justin Rowland. Ryan said, well, Disney is probably popular, but I meant Aladdin specifically. It's the only Disney story I know that's Arabian oriented. Lotus said, yeah, the show changed a lot after that. Yeah. Maria said, the real action Aladdin was terrible. Most of them are. John Glassett grew up on Star Trek and Kung Fu. I have never watched Star Trek. I've only watched one of the Star Wars movies. Alexis said, hi, 16 and 32. Thank y'all very much. Lotus said, Maria, he wants to know if your people find Aladdin offensive. And then Ryan said, nah, I mean the animated Disney from the 90s. American Maker said, I grew up on Thundercats, He-Man, Danger Mouse, Kid Video, Turbo Team. I have heard of every one of those, but never watched any of them. Right. Jonathan asked, how many days till summer? Let's see, 21. So you got 27 days. Ryan said, thank you, Lotus, with a laughing face. Jane said, me too, John. Remember Dark Shadows? Jonathan said, will you marry to me, and yes or no? Only if you learn how to type in proper English. Your channel activity made your channel 1 year ago. Oh, that's all you do is every time you come in here, you ask about stuff like that. Okay. Cool. I see what kind of person you is. Ryan said, I remember Thundercats. Now we call them Thunder. Rumble said, who remembers the OG Star Troopers? If you stop gawking at the gal and remember the actual movie. Maria said, nah, I don't let them lie to you and tell you Aladdin was Arabian. It's nothing like classic Arabian stories. Disney wasn't educated enough, so they made Aladdin the mix of Indian, Pakistan, Arab, and North African. Huh, okay. Floored for the Lord said, I am back, solid squirrel. I get distracted all the time by him too, don't feel bad. I see him in the road, I try to swerve over. I see him on the railroad tracks, I try to swerve to hit him. The last time I drove the train, we don't have steering wheels, so I just could not swerve. Jonathan Cox is laughing with some check marks. Rumple said, I ain't judging. I had fallen in love with pixelated Princess Peach from Mario games. That's okay. Jonathan said, how old are you is? I is are 29. Floored for Lord said he was driving me nuts. Oh God, my chest started hurting. Ryan said, well, I never thought it was culturally accurate. I mean, is the American story offensive to you or your people? Or do y'all like it because it's Disney like we do? Jay said, where did our OG troll go? Jonathan is becoming annoying. Yeah. Listen, I don't know where Mario went, but I'll take Mario over Jonathan. Jonathan asked when my birthday is. Next month. Lotus said plenty of dudes fell in love with the Tomb Raider chick. Yeah, like the 90s with like the square chest. Brandon said one of the funny things in Aladdin, they made the princess show so much skin comparing to other Disney princesses. Rich women and classic women's stories used to cover, only the maids wear it like that. Well, they had to make it appealing. Hornby said deers are cute. Yeah, they real cute whenever you get one and then I get to eat it. Floor for Lord said, I found the tires I want, Randy. I just need to find some money and I'll be in good shape. Hey, if you find some, tell me where to start digging, buddy. Jane said, Mario! Ryan said, LOL, yeah. Jasmine was pretty risque. Yeah, that's one thing now being an adult, I don't understand why they drew Jasmine like that. But hey, whatever. Floor for Lord said, China. Well, I'm going to start digging. Now, I will tell y'all, we talked to the man with the 67 F100. He said that you come on up here and look at it, and you tell me what you give. I said, oh, well, we can't do that. You tell me what you want to sell it for. If I got the money, I'll buy it. He said that he used to run a junkyard right up, like 3 doors up from us. He said, I'll tell you right now, you better be careful back there in the back. That is rattlesnake heaven. So, better be careful back there. Maria said, I mean, it's nothing serious. We don't hate Aladdin. But if you look at Aladdin and think that's what the Arabian world looks like, then you're wrong. I have been educated that my preconceived teachings and notions of the Middle East are largely incorrect. So thank you, Maria, for educating me. Hornby said, hi, Jane. Ryan said, I got you, Maria. Well, cool. Jane said, hi, Hornby. How's your day? Toppers said, go Supers, go Aves. Spurs, and go Aves. I don't know who either of those are. Jay said, oh, hell no, no snakes. That's kind of what we said. I start seeing a damn rattlesnake, y'all definitely going to see me move quick. Notice that as kids, we probably did think Aladdin was really, but as adults, we know it's not like that. Exactly. Hornby said, what do you like about deer? The way they taste, and I've only had them once. Ryan said, I think it's a good movie as a movie, but I don't take cultural cues from Disney, I promise. No kidding. Jonathan asked what the favorite song I like. What's your favorite hobby do you like? I like working on my vehicles. Don't really do a lot of music listening. Floor for Lord said, I ain't scared of no baby rattle. Bullshit, I am. Tell you right now. Y'all see me take some big ass steps back in here? There's something right above that door right there. Get that damn shovel. Maria said, yes, I'm your teacher about the Middle East, and you have definitely educated me on a lot of things. Maria said, LOL, if Easterns see this, they're going to hate me. Well, I'll tell you right now. Maria has had assumptions about certain things about America that were proven incorrect, and that we had certain assumptions about Iraq and the Middle East that were proven incorrect. So it just goes to show you can't trust the internet, or you can't trust the news. Rumpel said, who said snakes? That's my brother. Love them. Also, figuratively. Listen, Rumpel, if you want them, you can come get them. But they ain't going to be alive by the time you get here. Ryan said, I have worked with some Indians a few times. They were very nice. Introduced me to chai. I have arrested a few Indians and like Middle Eastern heritage people. I can't say the same thing about whenever you're arresting some people. Now, granted, they do make the joke about if you're an Indian person, you can't go try to rob a bank because then it's just you talk too kindly. Lotus retracted his message. American Maker said, made a mistake and got my brother an emulator for Tomb Raider. It made Lara Croft nudes. Couldn't get him off the PC. That was probably good. Hornby said, don't make a deer angry. Listen, I promise I can probably make one angry. Janie said, 3 things I know about Middle East. It's hot, dry, and you can never get all the sand out your butt crack. Lotus said, did you see a snake when you were cutting the tree? Same response. I bet you I'm faster with the snake. But no, I did not. But I wasn't long walking. And I opened up the smaller door to go from the front 3 bays to the back. And there was a snake laid across the doorway, because I remember looking at it and I went, man, when we lay a damn piece of like pipe or extension cord, that joker moved, and I think I jumped high enough that my dang boobies were higher than the damn top of the door. Daddy, between laughing, that was in the video, scared the piss out of me. Rumpel said, Ryan, chai tea. I have never tried chai. Marissa, I told my friends to describe me what beer tastes like, and she said it's like rotten socks. I second that. Jonathan said, what's your favorite food and favorite drink do you like? Favorite drink is probably a 4-way tie between Cheerwine, Mountain Dew, Dr. Pepper, and Mr. Pibb. Favorite food's a 2-way tie between seafood and spaghetti. Ooh, I might have to end the live soon so I can go home and make some crab eggs. Ryan said, Rumpel, I love chai tea. Lotus said, that's close, Maria. Yep. Maria said, yep, that's why I tell my parents not to trust what's online. Yeah, listen, there's a lot of very, very good information online. But there's a lot of even worse information online. More worse than good. Rumpel said, there's this YouTube video about how they portray Middle Eastern in the West. It's funny, so much appropriation. Yeah, that's... Again, it sounds wrong for me to say it, but just remember that's kind of where our minds were before we got the enlightenment from people. Ryan said, Maria, it depends on the beer. Some taste like very bitter sparkling coffee. Some taste like very bland seltzer. Others are amazing. I've never met a beer I liked. Chaos Theory said, Indian man tried to rob a bank. I thought that they were technical support. Floor for Lord said, are you a Leo, Randy? I used to be a law enforcement. Worked in High Point. I left not far from 5 years ago. Hornby said, Jane, my day was pretty good. I'm glad your day was good, buddy. Rumpel said, before rubbing, we would actually fix the computer glitches and bugs in the bank and give a business card. American Maker said, can't trust the net or the news. Exactly. Look, if you go to the news for real news, you're wrong. Lotus said, I ain't afraid of no snake. Bullshit, I am. You might not be, but I am. Maria said, to be honest, I find myself talking too much negative about Middle Eastern culture. I haven't shared so many positive stuff, which I have, of course. Remember, Maria, it is easier to focus on the bad versus the good. There's a saying about a teacher that went to the board and wrote 99 times 2 + 2 is 4. And that 100th time she wrote 2 + 2 is 5. All the students talked bad about her because that 1 out of 100 she got wrong. We tend to focus on the bad more than good. You have to put in the effort to focus on the good. Ryan said, I got Remington 1187 for any danger noodles that want to find out. Lotus said, I want some crab legs. Food Line had them on sale for $8.99 a pound, so I bought 5 pounds. Dad, as just a silly little YouTube channel, said 17 and 35. Well, thank you, Daddy. Ray said, I am kind of negative person, and we need to work on that. I am too. Lotus said, sup, Randy. Rumpel said 18 and 35. Jane said, I'm seriously wanting some seafood boil. Oh my God, Jane, I thought about it. And Madison told me about, I guess it'll be about 45 minutes from here. About 30 minutes from the house is a place in Jamestown, North Carolina, a little small town. They got an all-you-can-eat crab leg, but the last time I went, it was like $100 a person. I said, honey, I can't afford that. I'll buy you $50 worth of frozen crab at the damn store, and I'll cook them. But I would love a good seafood boil. Maria said, go watch the race. He's watching it. He's watching it. Rumpel said 18 and 35. Lotus said, Randy, snow crabs or regular crabs? Snow crab legs. Bigger is better. Ryan said, nah, Maria, it's the same for everyone. When you grow up with it, you can point out the negatives much easier. Just like I can tell you plenty of negative things about America. But I tell you, I like where I am because not many other places could I do what I'm doing here. Rumpel said, Alexis is back under a different username. Yep, Alexis might be busy. Ryan said, hey, Randy, too. Maria said, yep, that's true. Lumber Bumbler said, baby, I'm looking to slap a snorkel kit on a skateboard. Hot diggity dog. Let me know how that goes. Ryan said, we don't all assume your home is bad because you have complaints. We have complaints here too. Oh, we got plenty. But just remember, you got to put that extra little bit in to focus on the good. Floor for Lore said, my brother is a sergeant in Central Florida. Cool. My goal was to try to make it a chief one day, but after crunching some numbers, I said, the railroad pays better initially and still pays better even as a chief level. I said, getting shot at is not that bad to me, but getting shot at for after taxes about $10 an hour, I said, nah. Lotus said, rattlesnake won't bother you as long as you mind your business. Yeah, that's the problem. I might be out there doing something, helping Dad with the skid steer or something, and I might not be paying attention. He might accidentally move some stuff around to get it all angry. And then who's there that it could bite? Me. Ryan said, Lord, have mercy on him, Florida. LEO in Florida. No kidding. American Maker said, hopefully not Polk County, Florida. Jason Maria, talk negative. No, she never. Let's see here. Jacob said, I want some barbecue ribs. I have never cooked barbecue ribs, never cooked crab legs. By God, I'm going to try. Lotus said, I've heard they taste good, so it might be the snake who should be scared. You might have some pellets to get rid of after I get done. Maria said, I've never seen an American in real life. I know there's a lot of tourists come to see here after things got better. I honestly wouldn't mind going over there. I wouldn't mind seeing all the countries of the world. There's plenty of things I'd love to see, but there's a better chance than not I'll never get to see the things I want to. Floor for the Lord said, yes, it's in Polk County. Oh, no. I said, well, I don't go blasting everything just because I see it. It's only the danger noodle that gets near the house and slithers toward it. If it's here, it dies. Rumpel said, not all negatives are negatives. Tell me one person who wants to be HIV positive. I'll wait. Me too. Because I don't. Rumpel's laughing. Jane said, I had my first seafood bowl in March of this year. Girl, you have missed out. Ryan said, well, Maria, I can tell you most of the American YouTubers that seem too happy are lying. We've talked about this, me, Ryan, Dad, and a handful of others. Y'all see the good here and y'all see the bad here. I mean, we're not too good like last night. We were not very good on hiding the fact that we were getting frustrated, we were tired. Alright? Y'all see sometimes in the videos, like, you know, that one video where I think we were working on Fireball or something of that nature. Me and Dad were already frustrated, and I had magnetized something or put something on top of the brake in the fender. I told him, on the brake. He's looking all around, can't find it. On the brake. On the fucking brake! Most people cut that kind of stuff out because, oh yeah, we're so happy. No. It's like saying that you never have an argument with your significant other, male or female, doesn't matter. If you never argue and you never disagree, somebody's lying. Jacob said, you would love Alaskan crab legs. Oh, I love them. American Maker said, hopefully he is one of the new Polk County officers that has common sense. I think he does. Oh, hold on. I am way behind. Maria said, Jane, don't play Pop's role now. Hugh said, hello, R3. Hello, Hugh. Carlo said, sup, y'all, R3. Hello, Carlo and Papa Renzo. Just so everybody knew coming in, Dad is down there watching the Coca-Cola 600 with Chester. Ryan said, hey, Carlo. Hugh said, hello, Maria. Ryan said, hey, Hugh. Rumpel said, if things were perfect here, we wouldn't have religion promising us a perfect heaven. Oh, I'm a poet. You a poet and didn't know it. Maria said, hey, Hugh. Hugh said, hey, Carlo. Hey, Ryan. Hey, Rumpel. Carlos said, hello, Maria. Jacob said, hey, Grandpito Vic. Carlos said, sup, Hugh. Rumpel said, big boys, hello. American Maker said, there is good and bad everywhere. Don't matter where you live. 100% facts. Jane said, hey, Hugh. Hey, Hugh. Hey, Hugh. Hugh sent a picture of Cain and said, hello, Jacob. Rumpel said, hello to Hugh. Carlos said, sup, Ryan. Ryan said, R3, don't forget to mention the chat filter thing. Yes, everybody, if you're watching on a mobile device, top right corner of your mobile device, the 3 little dots, touch it, scroll down a little bit, and it should say chat filter. And it automatically is on top messages or top chats. Click it and go to all messages. That way you can make sure you're seeing all the chats. If you're on a computer, make sure that you go over on the right-hand side where the chat is, where it says top chat on the top left. Click that little drop down and go to all messages or live chat. That way you don't miss a message. Thank you for reminding me, Ryan. American Maker said, hey, Hugh, how you do? Hugh said, hello, American. Carlos said, sup, Rumpel. Hugh said, pissed. Uh-oh. That's not good. What you pissed about? Maria said, hello, my friend. Read my Insta bio, and she said, you love traveling. You only travel to your mom's kitchen. Jay said, hey, Carlo and Papa Renzo. Carlo, did you go back to Daryl's live last night when I said hi to you and your dad? Lotus said, I've seen a lot of the U.S., but never outside the U.S., but would love to go anywhere. Every country has something good to see, experience. I agree with that. Look, I've barely been out of North Carolina, South Carolina until we started this YouTube stuff. Now I've been North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky. But that's just going to events. I'd love to see more. I've not seen very much of the United States, and I hate to say that. Rumpel's laughing at Maria. Lord for Lord said, yeah, he is good, LOL. He is too high up for those sitting there sideways. Well, I'm glad to hear that he's not one of the bad ones. Maria said, I can't say that she's lying. It's okay, Maria. I ain't done hardly no traveling either. Jacob said, I hope you guys are liking the content I'm posting. Buddy, we've been so busy it's hard for us to watch anybody's, but if we get a chance, we do watch it. And if it's anything like the stuff I've watched in the past, I do like it. Hugh said, 13 years I've asked this illegal liquor house, don't let your people park in the middle of my yard. I've got pics of them parked next to my shed. Enough is enough. Ooh, yeah. I'd be pissed. Ryan said, no, but floored. The only thing I'm afraid is methed out Florida man. Oh, a Mexican American. Yeah, them jokers probably, Ryan said, that's like the Hulk. Yep. Lotus said, sup, Hugh. American Maker said, that's a setup for a valve stem screwdriver. It's crooked. Let's see here. Hugh said, barriers will be up for the 4th. All parking spots will be gone. I support that decision. Rumpel said, oh, not that I have not tried, Randy, but it's hard to argue with a random mold out in the wild, huh? What? Yeah. Hugh said, good and bad everywhere. Absolutely. The more bad you look at, the more bad you're going to see, and the same thing, the more good you see, the more good will find you. American Maker said, loosen the valve stems, then charge for air. Put hot glue a BB to the top of their valve stem cap. Put it back on. Slow leak. Never find it. It's just like if you put a small piece of plastic into a gas tank. It will not disintegrate. It will not melt. But when they cut the vehicle on and the gas sloshes around, the fuel pump will suck it up and it'll starve for gas and cut off. And then once they cut it off and everything settles, it'll go back down to the bottom and it'll repeat that process. Take thousands of dollars to find that one out. Basically, you need a new fuel tank. But you did not hear that from me. Carlos said, hello, Jay. No, sorry, I did not. I'll have to go back and watch. Hugh said, hello, Lotus. Florida Lord said, phone keyboards suck. I agree. Hugh said, double tap. Yeah, double tap that screen. We showing 15 people, 39 thumbs up. Rumpel said, I'm joking. Don't report me to authorities. I'm just lame sometimes. Don't worry, Rumpel. We've come to expect it. We enjoy you being here. Hugh said, hello, Floyd. Ryan said, it's so much easier to have him explain it. Carlos said, sup, Lotus. Floyd said, hi, Vic. Tell Grandma I said hello. Yeah, how's Grandma doing? Hadn't asked in a little while. Rumpel said, almost 6 a.m. Man, I bet you sleepy. Kathy, I'm going to say Kathy, said, hi, bro. Good morning. How are you? I'm good. Hope you are. Maria said, okay, bye, y'all. I'm going to sleep. I enjoy talking to everybody today. Maria, thanks for coming in. Have a good evening. Well, good night. Remember, keep it silly. Kathy said, hi, bro. I am Indian. Please answer. Oh, I read every comment. Our friend Rumpel's, Stiltskin's also in India. I'll have to put a pin in for you, but we are good. We hope you are. Ryan said, have a good one, Maria. Carlo said, bye, Maria. Lotus said, what's up, Carlo? Jay said, take care, Maria. And Rumpel's bedtime. Yes, it is. Lotus said, good night, Maria. Rumpel said, Jane, yup, laters. Take care. Take care, Rumpel. Thanks for spending so much time with us. We will hopefully see you tomorrow. Ryan said, have a good one as well, Rumpel. I don't care what nobody says. You all right. Jane said, take care, Rumpel. Ah, that thing has gotten warm. Rumpel said, Ryan, laters, take care. Looks like I got a Facebook message. Oh, hey, cool. It's Lord for the Lord. I will respond to you in a little bit, Lord for the Lord. It might be a little bit easier. It is hard for me to switch back and forth between my personal and Never Known projects. It might be easier if I just shoot you a phone number, but we will go from there. Carlo said, nothing much, Lotus. Slept in today. Have my injection this morning. Not looking forward to it. Hopefully the injection does good for you, but I understand not looking forward to it. Oh, goodness. I'm putting my shoes on. Now I'm going to go get an ice cream. Look, y'all behave while I go get this ice cream. If y'all don't, I'll sick Ryan on you. He'll come get you in his furry suit. Cootie Queen, I see you sent a message. I'm going to grab an ice cream. I'll be right back. Cootie Queen's in charge now. Alright, I'm back. Cootie Queen said, howdy y'all, just got home. I inhaled so much damn dust today, I don't feel too good. I don't know what you do or don't do, but best thing I can tell you for something like that is take you some like Benadryl or allergy medication. And when you wake up in the morning, you will be having some black shit coming out of your throat and out of your nose. So just be careful with that. Florida for Lord said, yes, I was thinking about those tires again. Whenever you're ready for them, You just let me know. Ryan said, lol. Rumple said, oh, there's my beloved pixelated Princess Peach from Mario Kart. Wait, I am still online. Oopsies. Good night, boy. Ryan said, hi, Cootie. Rumple said, bye, people. See you, Rumple, again. Thank you for coming in. Cootie Queen said, hello, Hugh. Or not Hugh. Damn. Ryan. I read that as Vic, not VR. Jane said, LOL, sweet dreams, Rumple. Looks like you already started. Rumple gonna wake up and be, Lotus said, hiding out from the rain. Wishing I could go rip this Baja through the Taylor Super Spikes on it. Gonna see how fast it is and throw some grass at roosters. Sounds like you gonna have a hell of a good time once this rain gets out of here. Florida said she's going to inoculate us with her cooties. Olivia said, I've done the evil. Uh-oh, what'd you do, Olivia? Olivia, if you didn't hear earlier, I ordered your sign. I've not heard from them. I'm going to send them another email this week and see if I can figure out when the sign's going to be here. Jane said, hi, Olivia. Carlos said, that will be fun, Lotus. Lotus said, what you do? That's what I'm trying to figure out. What'd you do, Olivia? Damn. My back hurts. Olivia said, I made Boggy enjoy his day. Finally! I'm glad Boggy finally enjoyed his day. He's had a rough go at it here lately. You'll have to excuse me, my upper back feels like I got knives in it. Ryan said, you rub his back? Lotus said, that's great. Boggy needs some good days. We all need some good days. Boggy's had some not so great ones. Glad he had a good one. Oh. Jane said, don't forget to give Daryl a thumbs up. Pops forgot it last night and he felt bad. I'm opening YouTube right now. And we're going to go right here. We're going to give a thumbs up. And we're going to go to live chat, but we're going to say in chat, hello all. There we go. I will not be over there, obviously, because I am doing our live. But I have no problem going over, giving them a thumbs up and saying hi all. Carlos said I might fire up my newly acquired MTX3 today, Lotus. Cool. Hollywood Stream Sniper said, yo, where's the ice cream dude at? Older dude with the glasses. That is my dad. He is down in the other bays with Chester watching the Coca-Cola 600 NASCAR race. And that also answers Cootie question of where is Pops. Jane said, share the joy. Exactly. Olivia said, F and A, why is it so hard to accept the fact that we want to celebrate the day he was born? The older a man gets, the less he cares. It's just another day. Olivia said, my brain crashed. I understand. Carlos said, hi, beautiful Olivia. Hollywood said, stop eating the homie's ice cream. You better have permission to eat his ice cream, dude. I bought this ice cream and I'm going to eat it. He got a whole tub of here. Lotus said, that's funny. Don't you have problems with birthdays too? Yeah, she kind of a hypocrite. Jane said, R3, gallbladder acting up. You complaining of chest pain, now back pain. Ain't your gallbladder like down here? This is like in between my shoulder blades. Look, I'll show y'all what I worked on earlier today. Right before the live. So, kind of hurting. And between doing that exhaust for 11 hours yesterday, I'm tired, Jane. Things hurt a little bit. Let's see. Notice that after the first few years, you have to work on your birthday, you just give up. I remember my first job working at Harris Teeter's warehouse and being a cop, the first 8 years, I worked every Christmas and every major holiday. And I think I worked just about every single one of my birthdays. Hollywood said, if you bought that ice cream, you better have bought 2. That's all I know. I bought a whole pack of them. We've had them for about 2 or 3 weeks. I've not had one in a couple weeks, or at least a week and a half. So I think I deserve one tonight. He's got 4, 5, 6 left, so if he wants one, he's welcome to it. Look, what's mine is his, and his is mine here. Same with my wife's house. What's mine is hers, and hers is hers. Jane said those are symptoms, chest pain and mid-back pain. If it persists, Jane, I will be a little worried. But I'm not worried about it right now. I think I'm just a little tired. Lotus said, dang, you guys smashed all 4 of those boxes. That's been Dad. Mike said, can't stay, just popping in to support you guys and give a like. Thank you for supporting and giving a like, Mike. I told everybody, but if you have not heard, Mike does have another long form video out there of the progress on his Pontiac before Poverty Tour on June 1st. Everybody needs to go over there and give him some support and tell him that you think he can do it, because I think he can do it. He's got this. Jenny said, I'm sure you are tired. I'm just concerned. I wouldn't be concerned. We'll figure it out after I die. Jane said, hey, Mike. Ryan said, hey, Mike. Lotus said, hey, Mike. And Carlos said, sup, Mike. Lotus said, someone needs to send the Randy some more Debbies. Hollywood said, I respect your dad, bro. Screen double tap. Hey, thank you for double tapping that screen, and I appreciate you respecting Dad. I think he's a hell of a good guy. I think him and my mom have done the best they could raising us, and I will stand by that. But, Dad, we get at each other's throats sometimes. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not so good. But again, like I said earlier, if you always getting along, somebody's lying. Ryan said, I think he needs to lower the Pontiac. Hey, one step at a time, Ryan, but hey, that'd be pretty cool. Put that joker on some air ride and coilovers and lay that summit right there, right on its nuts. Mike said, thanks, Randy. Hi, everyone. Not a problem, Ryan. Or not Ryan, excuse me, Mike. Mike got to yell at his screen today whenever we loaded the Tahoe completely different. Don't worry, you'll see another Tahoe get loaded in a couple days. Hollywood said, no matter what, your family at the end of the day. You're exactly right on that. But I have grew up to learn that just because they're family does not mean that you have to accept bad about them. Sometimes letting go of the rope, you might have hurt your hands in the past, but letting go of the rope keeps you from hurting your hands more. Carlos said, Jane, how many minutes into Daryl's live? You say hi. Ryan said, nah, just cut the springs. Yeah, that'd be a shitty ride. Or get underneath it with some damn torch and lower that bastard the old-fashioned way. Lotus said, I think the paint turned out great for what it is. Awesome. Ford said, I think I want to move. Oh, really? If you want to move down this way, about 7 minutes up 109, here's a house, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2,500 square foot. 1.95 acres, built in 1951, $290,000. Lotus said, should buff it now? I think it would shine. Ryan said, yeah, Lotus. Mike did damn good cleaning it up. From what I saw on his video, it looked good. I was watching his live the other day when he pulled off one of the door panels, and it was half duct tape. And I got a little busy making a video, so I regret to inform him that I could not watch it all. But I think Mike's doing a damn good job at it. And I told Mike in a text message, I'd love to get back to doing stuff like that. But we have our hand in a lot of different cookie jars. And we appreciate everybody being patient with us and watching what we post. Jacob said, Lone Wrench Garage, how's your phone doing? Lord said, I need land. I only got 6.5 acres, so I can't offer any. Jay said, Carlo, maybe 20 to 30. I have blue shirt on. Ford said, I have 10 acres in Virginia. Hot dog. Let's see. You start getting any kind of acreage around here, you're going to start paying real big for it. Lotus said, night and day. I'm glad to hear that. Carlos said, okay, I'll check it out later on, Jane. Ford said, I want 20 acres of woods instead. There's plenty of woods around here, but they're starting to clear. They're starting to build a lot more houses and businesses. Jane said, okay, Carlo. Ryan said, what part of Virginia? Jane said, I have 0.3333333 acres. More than enough for me to care for. Yep, I got 6.5 here, and I got half an acre at the house. I'd love to have about 10 in one spot, but that'll be later. Florida said between Charlottesville and Harrisonburg. I've heard of one of those two places. American Maker said too much to mow. We ain't mowing this. And they said they want 20 acres of woods. He ain't got to mow that. Ryan said north and west. Lotus, I like where Jane lives at Neat City, but would want to be in the county or country. That's one thing. I'm technically in the city of Denton, but I am outside of city limits, so I get left the hell alone. Listen, back in I think they said the 80s, they used to line up in the driveway right here, facing the road, and they used to drag race going up and down 49, going either way. And they used to have one guy, they said he was always drunk as a skunk. He'd pull in, sliding around. He'd say, all right, coast is clear, boys. They go line them up, and every little while they'd have a guy run down and check. I like this. And then up the road, they still do some Mexico activities and may or may not race. American Maker said go to the mountain trails, though. I like the mountain trails. Cootie Queen said, sorry, y'all would talk more, just not filling up the par. Definitely might be sick as heck tomorrow. Yes, I understand it. Please do not make yourself feel worse by trying to keep up with us, but I would highly suggest some kind of way to take some kind of allergy medication or get something where you can break up your mucus. Because with all that dust you were talking about, it's going to come out and it's going to suck. Florida said JMU and UVA are at either side of me, with an all-girls college in the middle near me. Oh boy. American Maker said Florida is bad. Got those big spiders with legs that could wrap around a kid. F that. Carlos said our block is 725 square meters. Cool. Lotus said, yep, that's what I want. Left alone. That's all I want. American Maker said golden orb weaver spider, aka banana spider. I've heard of them. I'll tell you right now, I burned the whole damn place down. Jacob said hi. Florida said Mulleton tea will help with respiratory issues. I think she said at work she got a lot of dust in her in her respiratory system, I guess. So something like that will possibly help flush it out. If you like hot stuff, that'll make your nose run, stuff like that. Lotus said, I saw the Mexico guys this weekend. They were meeting at Bucky's, 3 vets, 2 Beamers, 3 Camaros, and a Fox body on a trailer. Wow. They were planning that good trip to Mexico, weren't they? Ryan said, Cootie, run the hot tap in the bathroom and get really, really steamy. Go in there and take deep breaths. It'll help break everything up. Yes. And as hot as you can manage a towel or bath cloth, heat that bastard up, bring it out, make sure it's still hot, and lay it on your face. Florida said it's good for a lot of things. Never tried it, but I'm glad to hear it. Jacob said, I hate wolf spiders. Some things are huge. Yuck. I hate all spiders. Lotus said, I bet that fox body was nasty. I bet it was. That's one thing about a fox body. Unless it's just stock, them things are usually nasty. It's about like these 4th gen Camaros. You don't usually see them things running around stock on trying to go to events. And them things do pretty damn good when they drop some ponies in them. American Maker said, my father shot one with a .22 rifle. It exploded. Yeah, hell of a shot making that shot. Carlos said, Fox Body Mustang, my favorite one. I want one. Jacob said, hi. Lotus said, right next to the highway. Oh, I know what they were going to do. Cootie Queen said, might take some NyQuil, but later because that shit knocks me out so hard. And I'll do that. Ryan? Alright, Cootie, just be careful. Lotus said if dude pulls up to the meet with his car on a trailer, be worried. Yeah. Look, and if you start talking to a damn LS or a Corvette guy, oh, it's just a heads cam. Bullshit. That joker spraying enough nitrous to make it a damn Mars. Yeah. Jonathan said in Crossgates neighborhood. Okay. No idea where that is. What's the matter, Chief? What's the matter? Matter, Chief boy? What? What is it?
Nah, don't you jump on me.
Big retard. Out. No, out. Out. Thank you. Jonathan said you need to look it up. I might later if I can remember it. Better yet, I'll just look it up now. Crossgates neighborhood, region in Brandon, Mississippi. Oh, it's got like bungalows and really nice place. Looks like. Cool. Ryan said, be ready to hack though, Cootie. Yeah, you gonna hack all that junk up. American Maker said, worst spider I have smashed in Florida is a huntsman spider. Damn things are fast and they chase after everyone. F that. Carlos said, Lotus, if it's on a trailer in Australia, it def not street legal. Exactly. Ryan said, if you can get it back up, it won't hit so hard tomorrow. What was the dust from? I know she works at Lowe's. She might have been doing some stuff where they were cutting lumber. So that's just an assumption. You know what they say about making an assumption. Makes an ass out of you and me. Lotus said, that's the point, Carlo. That car is so fast, he's scared to drive it there. Yep. I can't say I relate to that because, well, my shit ain't that fast. Carlo said, yup, Lotus. Ryan said, I was figuring Lowe's, maybe a mask or a gator. That's like when we were sawing all this wood for that trailer. I was hacking up all that sawdust and crap every damn day. It sucked. And if it wasn't for being mistaken to something I'm not, I probably would have wore a mask. Floyd said, I seen a spider in Florence Villa that was the size of a dinner plate and it ran behind a plate hanging on the wall, but its toes were sticking out. 12-inch plate, easy. F that. Lotus said, we can help you, Randy. All it will take is most of your paychecks for the next few months. Yeah. Most of my paychecks already go to bills. American Maker said, my dad had a 76 Corvette. He dropped a 454 into it that he raced ready and had it up to 120 and the front end started coming off the ground. No steering at all. Could not go faster. Wow. For a Corvette to wheelie, especially at 120, you doing something. Corvette's hard as hell to wheelie anyway. Lotus said, what's more important, bills or horsepower? Probably bills, if I'm being frank. If I was older and my kids weren't at the house, oh yeah, absolutely horsepower. But being I got to take care of the kids and all, definitely I got to take care of the bills first. American Maker, I slowed down. It scared me, lol. I can imagine why. Ryan said, I'm kind of tracking you, Lotus, with the logic, though. Matthew said, sex hot. Hi. How you doing? Florida said my dually will only do about 90 with the 454, but that's running 4,000 RPM plus probably. If you in a stock rear end, that's probably a damn 410 rear end. And if it's like an older 454 C30, yeah, 90, I wouldn't even try to go that fast. That son of a bitch probably rattle you to death. Lotus said, I know the same reason my car isn't faster. That's the whole reason we got stock shit. Said, how'd the headers job go? If you missed the end of the live, we all got very, very frustrated because we had been working on it for 11 hours. Honestly, though, the job went very good. The headers and all the pipe sound amazing. It is extremely loud, but it sounds really good. He did get a check engine light because of that increased airflow. So he will need a tune. We understood that before we did it, like we had talked about. As far as I'm aware, he is very happy with it. But his pipe, his like 90, the collector that comes off of the collector, the 90 over on the driver's side, sounds like it's touching his drive shaft inappropriately. So he will need to be coming down here soon. And we will slowly negotiate that pipe to not hit the drive shaft. But other than that, as far as I'm aware, he loves it. But like I said, the job itself, we worked on it for 11 hours to include a dinner break. It could have gone quicker, but we're not that experienced at doing exhaust work, if I'm being honest. And my body's pretty screwed up. Dad's older and gets tired. Justin's crap screwed up. So it could have went better, but it did not because of various different reasons. But it honestly went pretty damn good. Ryan said, Randy, YouTube sex robot. Skip ad. Florida said, I tried to hit 100 and never got there. 456 gear. Yeah, yep, I bet you won't get there. Jane said, Ryan, I saw Lotus Tiny Turbo last night. Uh-oh. And Ryan said, LOL, how was it? Carlos said, Ford 9-inch diff supposed to be good. Yes, the Ford 9-inch rear end and the rear diff, whatever you want to call it, supposed to be one of, if not the best on the market. Second best is like the Ford 8.8, a lot better than that Chevrolet 10-bolt. Lotus said, Randy, let's build a redneck nitrous kit. I was just going to get the kit to, like my intake, like the tubular intake on my Camaro already has a little bung hole on it. I can just fit it into that bung hole and just put a 50 shot on it. Won't have to worry about it and have it on a button. But my car is speed limited to 108 mile an hour and it gets there right now. That 50 shot would be great for the, what's it called? For doing the burnout competition. If we are able to hit third gear, give it a little huff every once in a while we're spinning, I think it'll make a big difference. But I would love to build a redneck nitrous kit. Jay said, tiny, lol. Max Carroll said, it's raining so hard here, everyone is drowning. I hate to hear that. Ryan said, put anti-foulers on the rear O2 sensors, use the 90-degree ones. There are no rear O2s on his truck now. There's only provisions for the upstream, which is at the end of the long tube headers. We have already tuned his truck. It does not recognize that there's even downstream O2 sensors now. Lotus said, but it looks good, don't it, Jane? Florida said, do you do any ECM tuning? I need some baseline files. I have HP tuners. I don't know how to make actual changes. I don't know what I'm doing with it. I'm learning as I'm going on like my stuff like Marketplace. So I do not offer that for anybody. But I do know how to turn off a light. Jane said, it looked nice, Lotus. American Makers, I can't remember the full details of the parts I bought, but I had a 79 Ford Bronco, put a 6-inch suspension lift, 3-inch body lift, rebuilt 351M with full race cam and crank with aces. That thing would haul on 42-inch Super Swampers. I bet so.
Right.
Ryan said, lol, Lotus. Cootie said, would a sinus rinse help? Oh, absolutely. Lotus said, make sure you get TP for the bunghole. Florida said, Dana 60 versus Ford 9-inch. What's up? You always hear about people doing, for off-road, the Dana 60. But the people doing like a higher horsepower, like street, drag type vehicle, you always hear about the Ford 9-inch. So, I guess it's what application you want to run. Jane said, yes, Cootie. Lotus said, did your dad tell you about the Jet 2 tuner? He did not. I will ask him after live. Ryan said, it could help if you can confirm it's a clean rinse. Yes. Brandon said, did y'all cook breakfast today? What did y'all have? Yes, we did, Brandon. We had our usual bacon sausage, smoked sausage, eggs, pancakes, and I think that was about it. It was very good today. Cootie Queen said, well, we have the appropriate rinsing solution. I'll do that. I hate doing that, but yeah, that will definitely help get all that dust and junk out. Now, just thinking about it, my throat's getting itchy, my nose feels weird. American said, went around the road, had it on 2 wheels on the side for about 30 foot, got lucky and landed back on all 4. Man, you've had a hell of an experience on your vehicles, ain't you? Brian said, oh, well then yeah, LOL. Put a 14 bolt in it. Look, I'll put a 14 bolt in Black Betty. How about that? But whatever I put in Black Betty, the front's got to match too. Look, the Jet 2 is a plug and play tuner for your Gen Camaro. Okay. Now, I did find some like pre-tuned ECUs that I can buy online for like my 95. Dad's is a little more complicated but can be found. The only thing I don't want is I do not want my rev limiter removed. I want the VATs completely gone, which we don't have problems with anymore. And if we do have a way around it. And I don't want a speed limiter. I want to maintain my RPM limiter. Because with the RPM limiter, I'm not going to over rev it to 7,000 on accident. It's going to protect it, but I need that wheel speed. I can do that with the LS. If I can get that Jet 2, I will look into it. Better yet, I'll just go ahead and go over here and we will Google Jet 2 tuner. And we will, I will look up that in a little bit, like as in after live in 17 minutes. Like I said though, the biggest thing is I do not want to remove my RPM limiter. Jenny said, Maker, did you learn to get it on all 4s? American said, ended up losing it because the ring and piston gear in the rear axle stripped out and it looked like one of those donut ring towers that babies play with. Ouch. Lotus said, cost $400 though. See, if you were unaware, Lotus, we have a LSK member sitting in the back right now that cost me $100. We have the LS swap mounts that Adam at Grease Spot Garage got us. I don't remember how much it was, but we have the provisions to put a LS in both cars now. The biggest problem we will run into is my car being a 95 and a 1-year transmission. I can either go down to the 93, 94, 4L60 non-E or go up to the 95 and up, or 96 and up, excuse me, and still maintain it. So for $400, I can potentially have another 4L60 converted over to run these cars, or a rebuild of said 4L60 or something of that nature. Be honest, I'd rather just continue to use these LTs until they let go. When they let go, start figuring out what to do to put the LS in. Because I don't have to have the 4L60 shift itself. As long as whenever I pull it all the way back, it goes to first, bump it up, it goes to second, bump it up, go to third. If it will fully shift, like if it's like I shift it like you can a turbo 350, because it will not shift out of first and it will not shift out of second or third while I'm out there doing my burnouts. I know it won't because I hold it on the limiter. So if it will shift when I move it instead of the computer telling it to, I'll just bolt the damn 95 to the LS. Carlos said, BRB going to make a big explosion in the toilet? Hey, be careful. Ryan said 14 bolt everything. Yeah, hell. American Maker said, I missed that truck. I had a truck bed camper that got blown off the jacks. and crushed in the floor, so I drove over it with the Bronco. It was fun, and I have witnesses. My cousin was with me. So fun. Can I get a witness? Sounds like Chester just started his Ranger, so Dad will be up here any second. Lotus said, you can set your limiter. Okay. So that's the thing is, I don't want to blow the cars up. I know it's coming. I mean, it's inevitable for what we do to them, but I need the limiter because I don't pay attention to my gauges. Ryan said, put a valve spring in it and you don't need to worry about revving too high. I would rather do it to the LS, buddy. And the LS will get a cam and springs. Lotus said, I mean, if you just want to blow it up, who needs the rev limiter? And then it said, HPI will let you change shift points, but I don't know about Jet 2. Okay, I don't need to change shift points. That's the benefit of it not being a street-driven car. Is whenever I pull it back in first, I want it to stay in first until I bump it to second. When I bump it to second, I want it to go to second, and I want it to stay in second, which it will. I bump it to third, and it will go between second and third. But if I bump it to first, it stays in first. If I bump it to second, it stays in second. And it will just sit there on the limiter in first and second, and it will do the same in third. Unless I put it in drive, it will not come out of third gear. And I learned that sitting out there on the pad. I put it in drive and immediately wrapped it over to 108 and just started bouncing. American Maker said, Jane, the two-wheel thing was a fluke. I took a turn too fast. It was not intended and not planned, kind of like hydroplaning. Just stayed calm and turned the wheel the way I wanted it to go, let off the gas, and hope for the best. There you go. Sounds like Dad might be coming up here. I heard a door shut. Oh, he's putting his lawnmower up. American Maker said, truth told, I do not recommend it. It's scary. Think the seat had a pucker mark. I bet so. Florida said their phone died. That's no bueno. Glad you got it back on life support. Alexis is back and said hi. Hello again, Alexis. How many people we got watching? 15 and 43 thumbs up. Oh, there she goes, 14. I got a damn clogged pour right here, damn it. Brian said, hello, Alexis. And Alexis said, 42. Hot dog. I'm kind of impressed that we've gotten this many likes tonight. I understand it's a holiday weekend and a lot of people are more busier than anything. Florida said, I will send you my number, Randy. All right, buddy. I will send you at the minimum the shop phone number. Just know if you want to communicate, you're welcome to send us an email at neverdoneprojects@gmail.com. But if you would like, we can exchange some numbers. Florida said they're going to send us their number. Alexa said, yee! Cootie Queen said 23 people watching. Everybody be sure to like the stream. Cootie Queen said she's not feeling very well. Had a lot of dust at work today. Uh-oh. And we recommended a sinus flush. Well, not me, somebody else did, but I told her if you were around a bunch of sawdust, you're going to be hacking up and blowing your nose with a bunch of black shit coming out.
Yep.
So she's going to try a sinus flush. Alexa said 14 and 43. Hey, thank y'all. Jane said, hey, Pops.
Hello.
Cootie Queen said, hey, it jumped back down. Yeah, Cootie Queen, people doom scroll and come across a live and immediately swipe away. American Maker said, yeah, busy. Stay clear of Walmart and Sam's Club. I like Sam's Club. I like Walmart for certain things. Ryan said, what holiday, lol? Yeah, some of us still got to work on a holiday, but there won't be much work done, I promise. Alexa said 18 and 44. Florida said, hey, Pops. Ryan said, hey, R2.
Hello.
American Maker said, Nettie Pop works good for a flush.
I cannot do that.
Cootie Queen says she's got the correct solution to do it, so she's going to try it. I bet you it's better than trying to hack all that shit up. Russia-05B said, hello, where are you from? Denton, North Carolina. Might I assume you're from Russia?
Oh, here.
Yeah, considering they're typing in Russian. Floyd said, neti pot is exactly what you need. Jane said, when I carve, I'm always hacking crap up, lol. That's what I was saying earlier about cutting all that wood for the trailer. Me and him both were hacking that shit up for days. Lex said 18 and 45. Hot dog. We gonna be close to 50. I don't think we'll make 50 though. American said they treat their employees like trash. Every damn company does. I will swear by the fact that I've never seen a company work so hard to hire somebody and then turn around and fire them than damn CSX at the railroad. Cootie Queen said, I have a neti pot, fortunately. Hey, there you go. Jane said, me too, Cootie. Ryan, gotta control the dust. Yes. American said, I worked for Sam's Club for 8 years, got hurt, and they yelled at me for it. Then took out their frustrations on me because the doctors were not releasing me immediately. Sounds like you work for the damn railroad. The railroad fires you for getting hurt. Floor said neti pot isn't not bad really. It's just awkward and seems like you might drown.
That's what I'm scared of.
Yeah, bump that. Lotus said, watch out, Stone Cold's behind you. I'm watching you. Jane said, I have dust collector and mask. I knew you were that kind of person. Lotus said, about to catch a stunner. People's elbow coming for that. Floor said, I had a few good employees. They are few and far between. That's the railroad. There's some damn good railroaders out there. I have worked with, in my opinion, some of the best engineers and best conductors you'll ever meet. But they are very, very hard to find. Carlos said, sup, Pops?
Hello, Carlo. And hello, Papa Renzo.
Carlos said he has an injection today, so he's not looking forward to that.
Oh, sorry. We'll be praying.
John said, at 16, I learned the more you do, the more they'll give you, and the less they'll pay you to do it. It's like Justin's job. He's honestly doing more than I expected him to be doing. And they hired him on as a part-time temporary worker, temp work, I guess. Was originally going to pay him X amount, cut him to this amount, and then they gave him a pay raise, which was a couple dollars an hour for full-time work. However, that's still a couple dollars short of what they were going to initially give him. So, of course, for rightful reasons, he's frustrated. And I said, buddy, the money you're talking about you're making now is what I was making as a cop. He said, well, they were going to give me this. I said, guess I can understand. He's like, so, if they want to pay me that little, he said, I'll do that little. And my mind immediately goes to, well, you effing bum. But, am I stupid or is he stupid? If they're going to shortchange him by what, $6 an hour just about?
Mm-hmm.
Shit. I mean, yeah, you want to shortchange me $6 an hour from your initial job offer after you bring me on full time? Yeah, I'll slow down for that. Carlos said, thank you, Pops.
Anytime, buddy.
Lord said, the worst engineers I have ever found all work in the food industry. Well, I'm talking about like a train engineer, like drives the train. American said, I think CSX should reduce some of the lengths of their trains. Many I have been stuck waiting are so damn long. You sit for nearly 30 minutes when they stop and back up. So frustrating with them. I have been on trains 15,000 feet long, 3 miles of train. And I think it's stupid. But you think about it. If each car they make $100 of profit on, and it's 250 cars long, it's a lot of freaking money. Jane said, working in a hospital system, we couldn't get sick. Well, you want to know how you get sick? You show up for work and say, I can't get sick. Floor said, party. The snack food industry, like cakes and snacks, require a little IQ, I reckon. So does working on the railroad. Ask me how I know. I work there. America said, try working as a welder / fitter. They are not too smart either. It's a beautiful night. Daryl at More Max at Second Tap. Hello. Thank you. Florida said Mac Attack. Daryl said floored. Floored said they make more than $100 per car. Well, I'm just giving you a round number. For example, now on the railroad where we are, if a car sits in our yards for more than 24 hours, they get billed $75 per day per car. And there's a cement company up in Winston. We'll be sitting on 20 or 30 of their cars for weeks. So you think about that. That money does not come back to us. It does not go to him. That money goes straight into the shareholder's pocket. Ryan said, hey, Daryl. Alexis said, hi. Hello again, Alexis. Daryl said, Ryan. Lotus said, the karate redneck kid. Hi. Ryan's laughing at Lotus. And Cootie Queen said, Pops is just staring off yonder, contemplating life. Well, who won the race?
Oh, it ain't over. Chase just said that's enough race for today. They still got another 100 laps.
Good God.
He said he said he stayed up till I think he said he went to bed last night about 12:30. He watched the race last night, and he asked me when you were leaving. I thought he meant when you were gonna get off live, and I said about 9. So he planned on leaving around about time because he asked me what I was gonna eat, and he didn't want to hold me up.
Well, I'm
He
sitting here
said
trying
he
to figure out what I'm
appreciated
going
me
to do.
watching the race with him. He got to go.
Well, it's just like you told him. We don't watch it without him. It's kind of one of those, it's quality time spent with him.
Well, he asked me, he said, what would you be doing if I wasn't here? I said, I'd be up there on the live or working on that bucket. Well, don't let me hold you up. I said, Chester, as long as you're here, I'll sit here and watch the race with you.
Absolutely.
I said, if you leave, I'm turning that race off. I'm going to go do it, but I enjoy sitting there with him.
Floored said with welding, it's okay to be dim so long as you can hold a steady arc to light the way until payday.
Yeah.
American said, I spent 12 years working as a welder fitter. I argued with the engineer so many times. When they saw me coming, they ran the other way. One got to the point one day when I argued with him about his math. He was wrong in his calculations, argued over an hour with me. And then after 3 hours, came back with the dimension I told him it was supposed to be. If the idiot would have listened to me, the job would have been done sooner.
They all like that.
Yep. John said, blessings to everyone. Get your sleep. That's an order. Aye, aye, Captain. I'll get my sleep once I get home. Ryan said, good old Chester. I like old Chester. We work with a guy. He's a big old muscled up guy.
He always
asked
asks
it the other
about
day.
you, Ryan.
He does. He asked about that guy we work with. We did his wife's tires. He said, how's that boy doing? I said, Chester, I don't get to work with him very much. Well, he seemed odd. If y'all know anything about Chester, if you knew anything about that guy, then you'd be kind of surprised. Jay said, who knows how many more races you'll have with Chester?
Exactly.
Exactly. The man's, 86 years old.
Yep.
His sister's got cancer. He just lost, I think, either his brother or his brother-in-law to cancer.
He just both.
Yeah, okay.
His brother just died a
Yeah.
couple of days, well, about a week or two ago. And
It's been about a month
his
now.
brother-in-law was like 2.5 months ago.
Yeah.
2 months ago.
So, I mean, and that's the thing. Chester's been coming here since, 1995, 94? No, he's been coming here
No,
for probably
yeah,
50,
yeah.
at 50 years
I thought
to
he
get
said 60
tires
years.
here. And he said the only one time in his entire time of getting tires around here has he went somewhere besides here. And it was in 1995 when Bobby decided to sell health insurance. He said that they messed it up, didn't do it right. He said, I will never go anywhere but this place again. He's not the only one who says that, so these people are always welcome. All right? Some people say get rid of the couches and get rid of the chairs because people are just going to linger around. That big office, I'll put another TV in there, a mini split, fix the leaks, and people can come from all around and sit there and watch TV with us. I enjoy the time spent with them. They have life advice and lessons that they can teach you that when they pass, you will not learn again. Ryan said, "Hello, he's definitely honorary granddad." Yes, he is. Florida said, "God
promise you,
bless
if he don't
Chester."
like you, you would know it.
Oh, you definitely know it. Florida said, "God bless Chester." Alexa said, "Hi." Cootie Queen said, "All right, y'all. I'm going to get that neti pot and see about getting a snacky. Good night." See you, Cootie Queen. Thanks for coming in. Hope you get to feeling better. Report back tomorrow. American said, owner of the one company I work with saw an engineer, demanded I apologize. So I said, "I'm sorry, you're a moron. I forgive you." Owner came to me and had me to his office and laughed with me. Ryan said, "Good luck, Cootie." American Maker said, "That was back in my days where I had no filter and a bad attitude." I still got both of those things. No filter and a bad attitude, that is.
Thank you for
America
watching.
said
our
good
video.
luck, Cootie Queen. Ryan said, well, please tell him I said hi.
We hope to
We
see you
will.
tomorrow.
He asks all the time, why ain't you on the list up there?
Never done projects.
I said, he don't need to be on
Remember
the
to
list.
like, subscribe.
Jane said, take
comment,
care,
and
Cootie.
share
America
with
said,
a
I
friend,
changed as I got older. LOL. We all do.
and tell them if
Jay
there's
said,
anything
okay, I'll
to do.
take care. Everybody,
See you,
thank
Jay.
y'all for coming in. Thanks for watching. Have a good day, night, whenever you're watching this. And remember, y'all, keep it silly. We'll see y'all tomorrow.